And here is the Writer's Almanac for Saturday, the 9th of May, 2020. It's the birthday of the poet Ellen Bryant Voigt, born in Danville, Virginia, 1943, who said, "Resist any temptation to use the poem to make its readers like you or admire you or forgive you." It's the birthday of the poet Mona Van Dyne, born in Waterloo, Iowa, 1921, who said, "I believe that good poetry can be as ornate as a cathedral or as bare as a potting shed as long as it confronts the self with honesty and fullness. Nobody is born with the capacity to perform this act of confrontation in poetry or anywhere else. One's writing career is simply a continuing effort to increase one's skill at it." It's the birthday of the novelist Richard Adams, born in Washcommon, England, 1920. He was a civil servant with two young daughters. He made up stories for them. They were going on a long car trip when one of the girls told him he had to make up a new story, a long story that would last the whole trip. So he made up a story about a band of rabbits who were escaping the destruction of their home. And the story did last the trip. And when it was done, his daughter Juliet said, "You ought to write it down. It's too good to waste." So he did. The story was rejected by many publishers as too grown up for kids and too simple for adults. But a small publisher finally came out with a print run, a small run, couldn't pay Adams any advance. But after it got good reviews, the sales took off, and within a couple of years, Watership Down had sold more than 1 million copies back in 1972. It was on this day, 1960, the Food and Drug Administration approved the sale of the first commercially produced birth control pill, Enovid 10. At first, drug companies were afraid to market it for fear of boycotts by religious groups, but there was a change in American culture. More women wanted to stay in college even after marrying and to delay having children for their careers. It was a tiny pill, discreet, affordable, almost 100% effective, cost 11 cents to manufacture. It was the first medicine ever designed to be taken by people who were not sick. Today, the number of women completing 4 years of college is about 7 times what it was before the pill was introduced. It's the birthday of the poet Charles Simic, Belgrade, Yugoslavia, born 1938. After the Nazi invasion, his father was arrested, thrown in jail. Simic didn't see his father again for nearly 10 years until the family reunited in Chicago in 1954. In Belgrade, he loved American movies, the asphalt jungle, the naked city. He looked at pictures in Life and Look magazine, pictures of America. First poem he knew was good. He said he wrote in New York City a poem called The Butcher Shop. He was working odd jobs, house painting and selling dress shirts in clothing shops. Here's a poem for today by Walt Whitman, When I Heard the Learned Astronomer. When I heard the learned astronomer, when the proofs, the figures were ranged in columns before me, when I was shown the charts and diagrams to add, divide, and measure them, when I, sitting, heard the astronomer where he lectured with much applause in the lecture room, how soon, unaccountable, I became tired and sick, till rising and gliding out, I wandered off by myself in the mystical, moist night air, and from time to time looked up in perfect silence at the stars. Walt Whitman's poem, When I Heard the Learned Astronomer. That's the Writer's Almanac for Saturday, May the 9th. Be well, do good work, and keep in touch.